What happens when you drop a Chino kid into a Newport mansion and add indie rock, pool houses, and love triangles galore? Well, you get our special season 6 opener, The OC. Welcome to the No More Late Fees podcast. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Jackie, and we're just two best friends and ex-Blockbuster employees rewatching some of the best and worst movies from the late 90s and early 2000s. And this week, we're celebrating our Season 6 opener with Ryan, Seth, Summer, and Marissa as we dive headfirst into Newport Beach with the Y2K cultural staple, The OC. But before we dive in, let's get into some
Housekeeping.
If you love the podcast and you want to support us, here's a way that you can.
Well, I know we've asked before, but we're asking again. Make sure you head on to Apple Podcasts and write us a review because it helps us get more listeners and we'd really appreciate it. And plus, we'll read it on the show. All right, Jackie, for, I don't know, people who are dead in a ditch, under a rock, in the ocean, what's the OC about?
So, The OC is about a troubled teen from Chino who gets a second chance when he's taken in by a wealthy family in Newport Beach, California. The OC follows Ryan Atwood as he navigates a world of privilege, complicated relationships, and hidden secrets alongside his new family, the Cohens, and their tight-knit social circle. Between romance, betrayal, and coming-of-age struggles, the series blends sharp humor with emotional drama, all set to a defining early 2000s indie soundtrack. It stars Ben McKenzie, Adam Brody, Misha Barton, Rachel Bilson, Peter Gallagher, Kelly Rowan, and Melinda Clark. It was created by Josh Schwartz. You can currently watch it on HBO Max and the Disney Plus Hulu triangle of it all. There are trigger warnings. We are going to be talking about death, sexual abuse, substance abuse in this episode. But before we start, let's get into our ratings rewind.
So, you know the drill. Before we get into the show, we'll reveal the rating our Y2K versions of ourselves will give. And then at the end, we'll see if our current selves agree with our initial rating. Our scale consists of would buy it or would buy it again.
Welcome to the OC, bitch. The best would play on repeat.
All right, coming in hot. 5-day rental.
Would watch again.
2-day rental.
It's okay, but nothing to write home about.
You want to say something else?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Same day rental.
Leave it with Oliver because it's fucking trash.
Somebody just did a video, I think I saw it on Instagram, that the guy who played Oliver was on The Pit.
Oh.
And it was the meme that they had in the background was like, and then I hear this graining voice. And then it shows his face. At first, I was like, why does he look familiar? And it was him. All right, Jackie, what was your Y2K rating of The OC?
Loved it. No notes. I would carry around the DVD season box sets with, like, I would travel with them so that I could watch them wherever I went. Would buy for me.
I was gonna say so what you're saying is a would buy.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a would buy for me. I am having trouble like remembering certain aspects. So by the time I moved to New York, it was still on. I think it was still on for the 3rd and 4th season. By the time I moved there. And you couldn't tell me nothing about watching that. I had it on TiVo, right? So when I think we had moved and I told my dad and my sister, I'm like, the last season of the OC and my national TV debut are saved on the TiVo. Do not, I repeat, do not unplug it. And guess what happened? They messed around with the TiVo. I don't know what I was more upset about. The season 4, because at that time like we hadn't had it on DVD yet.
Yeah.
So I had to wait and I wanted to rewatch it. Devastated. So like I said, would buy it. I would buy it for me.
Well, tell us about some of the OC facts, Danielle.
In 4 seasons, not one black person was a part of the cast.
I'm trying to
I'll
think.
wait. And that is crazy because that's more egregious than Friends, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I know there was a black family in Newport. There had to be. But I will continue. 4 seasons, 92 episodes. It premiered August 5th in 2003, and it ended February 22nd, 2007. So if you're wondering, like, what happened with the time here, remember we had a writer strike, so that threw
Yes.
everything off for any show in this time period, if I could recall. And what the OC did, if I can remember correctly, is they used a page out of the 90210 playbook, which
Mm-hmm.
is it came out during the summer,
Yes.
a little bit earlier than the rest of the season, the new season would start.
Mm-hmm.
And that is definitely something I think Beverly Hills 90210. I don't know if they did it in their first season, but I definitely think it might have been like between the first and second season. And that's when it really blew out because everyone was watching it over the summer.
Yeah.
So very smart of Fox to do that. And by the way, it aired on Fox.
Going back to the no black people, Danielle, it's
hmm
even worse than that. They had one black reoccurring character for a few episodes, played by Chris Brown, who dated
That's
the
right.
Caitlyn
I
character.
totally forgot he was on there because my brain said no. But it counts.
It
And
does, but I
but
mean,
it,
1 in 4 seasons.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's Chris Brown.
Yeah.
Damn, I really like blacked that out for sure. No
I
pun
did too
intended.
until I like Googled, were there any black actors on the SC? And it's like, Brown played Will Tutt, Caitlyn's dorky band geek love interest for a couple of episodes. I was like, God damn it, he did.
I wonder if they thought, yeah, I don't have any words
Yeah.
for any of that. And
No.
Caitlyn's group of friends was a wild ride.
Yeah.
She could have had a spinoff, in my opinion.
The creator wanted to do a spinoff of Anna at one point.
And let me say this. That actress in real life,
Mm-hmm.
trash.
Oh.
Her politics are trash.
Ah.
Yeah,
Okay.
look that
Will do.
up. But Anna, about what? Once she got those veneers in her mouth, I like I couldn't pay attention anymore. I think she got veneers or something. She did some that was
Well,
weird
she comes back.
in the third season, I think.
Yeah, and she has like this funky haircut. Like they leaned even more into her being like alternative, like the anti-summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's make a top 5 list of the trash people that were on the OC. So far we have Chris Brown.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say number 2 is Kevin Sorbo.
Yes.
He knows why. Who is what's the name of the girl who plays Anna?
Samire Strong. Samire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's on there. Even though I will say she's in this movie called Boy and Girl or something like it's a body swap movie, and I very much like that movie. Even though,
Armstrong is her last name. Sorry.
oh,
I
okay,
think I just said
Samir
Strong.
Armstrong.
Yeah.
I'm sure more people will come up as we
As we talk through it. Yeah.
Ah,
Ooh, well, we would be doing a disservice if we didn't talk about the cultural impact that the OC had on the youth of the nation. Not only did it dominate in all of the like Teen Choice Awards, it started fashion trends with like the layered polo shirts, super low rise jeans with like the really thin sandal, the tiny little like hobo purses.
Yeah.
We got catchphrases, welcome to the OC bitch, Chrismica.
Yeah. Chrismica
Um,
was big.
uh,
And I don't think we ever would have gotten Laguna Beach if it wasn't for
yeah.
this show. And I wonder, did the OC Real Housewives come after the show came out?
Oh, I don't know.
I will look it up as you continue.
Okay. Where are we now? Okay. Well, before we jump into VOC, let's hear a message from our pod pals real quick.
How many times have you heard somebody say the book is better than the movie?
Or that you should read the book before you even watch the movie?
Ever wondered how true that is?
Well, here at Box Office Books, we try to settle the score.
I, Abby, watch the movies,
And I, Sarah, read the books.
so you don't have to.
And then we compare, contrast, and argue
Discuss.
about which one did it better.
So if you've ever been personally victimized by a bad book-to-movie adaptation,
Or if you've only seen the movie and you want to know what you're missing.
or if you just enjoy some good old-fashioned sibling banter,
And by banter, she means me trying to keep this podcast on track while she tries to derail us.
somebody has to keep things interesting.
Well, then Box Office Books is the podcast for you. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts.
New episodes are released on Friday, so join us.
And tell us which one you think is better.
Okay, I'm trying to see when the show started for. I just needed Wikipedia. I don't need all this.
Oh, I found another trash person. Amber Heard was a guest star.
Oof.
Chris Pratt was a guest star. We're
Uh.
rounding out that list real quick, Danielle.
Did they restart the Housewives? Because it's saying 2025 over and over again. And I'm just
I
like,
don't
what
know.
about the old version of this?
I don't know. But
Uh,
while you look, let's talk about casting. So we listed the main cast. Rachel Bilson and Melinda Clark were actually billed as guest stars. They were only supposed to have like really minor parts, but they quickly became fan favorites and were added to the regular cast, I think, by mid-season.
Smart choice.
100%. Peter Gallagher, who played Sandy, was the first person cast. Adam Brody originally auditioned for the role of Ryan Atwood, but was ultimately cast as Seth Cohen. In what world? Well, and I just think like Ryan
Sorry.
Atwood is synonymous with Ben McKenzie in my brain. There's no separating.
No, and they're like besties, it feels like in real life.
Yeah.
I it's funny because if I think about some of those shows around that time, there it needs to be studied where some of these TV shows where they play best friends, they
Mhm.
become best friends. Like
Yeah.
I would say the OC is like that, where it's like the main relationship is them, not even
Yes.
the girls that they were with. Scrubs, Psych is like that. But definitely Scrubs because they are in commercials and they restarted Scrubs again. They had a podcast like
Yeah.
they can't quit each other for
Yeah.
real. And I do think that the guys, Paul Wesley and what is it, Summerholder? Is that how you say his name?
It's married to Nikki Reed, who plays Sandy in
Yes.
OC.
Yes. All right. From Vampire Diaries.
Yeah.
They like they're still at it. Now I wonder about the Supernatural boys because I think they're close, but I don't know if they're like best friend status.
Yeah.
Anywho, yeah, they are two peas in a pod.
So, speaking of the role of Ryan Atwood, Justin Hartley auditioned for Ryan. Garrett Hedlund was actually cast as Ryan Atwood, but he dropped out due to scheduling conflicts with Troy. And so,
I think that works out because like yeah, I think that works out. That's all I'm gonna say.
yeah. Ben McKenzie was relatively unknown at the time of casting and was reportedly one of the last actors seen before landing the lead role of Ryan. And when he was cast, he was working as a telemarketer. So he was grinding before he
Yeah.
landed this cherry role.
And I feel like heard that Chad Michael Murray was in the mix too for the
Mm,
lead of this role, but then chose to do One Tree Hill. I could be wrong, but I think I saw an interview with him. I think he had said something like that.
that makes sense.
And they were constantly in competition with each other when they first came out,
Hmm.
but obviously One Tree Hill lasted a lot longer.
Yeah. When they were casting for the role of Marissa Cooper, writer Josh Schwartz had written to the producers that Marissa was the most beautiful girl you've ever seen. They later said that they chose Misha Barton because of her awkward beauty, meant in a good way. And as Barton herself later stated, I was up against girls who look like your usual Californian beach blondes. Guess they decided to go against that.
Mm.
But interesting enough, the two finalists for the role of Marissa were Misha Barton and Olivia Wilde.
Hmm.
And writers felt Olivia was too strong to play the emotionally unstable Marissa, so they wrote her the character of Alex.
Mm. I don't even know what to say about that. Like, I don't blame the role of Marissa on the actress as much as the writers were writing her all over the place.
Yeah,
It should be noted that Ben McKenzie was 25 when he got cast.
I listed all of the ages. Let me see. Okay, so at the time of the series premiere, Ben McKenzie was 25, Adam Brody was 23, Chris Carmack and Rachel Bilson were 22, Michael Cassidy was 21, and Misha Barton was the only real teenager in the cast as she was just 17.
Yeah, and I think in season one, behind the scenes, like everybody just started dating each other. So I think Ben and
Misha?
Misha were hooking up, and I was just like, Ben,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. And then
Not.
because of it's a well-known fact that Rachel Bilson and Adam Brody dated throughout the
The course of the show
the course of the
until
show. And
I think they
actually,
broke up in the fourth season.
yeah. And actually his their chemistry was what led Summer to become a full like a main cast member.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
she had really good chemistry with almost everybody.
Yeah.
And I felt like there were times where I was like, oh, they're gonna try to put her with Ryan. I wasn't sure,
At the
but
very beginning, it
yeah,
felt like that, but then it quickly moved away from that, and it wasn't really
right.
that again. Speaking of ages, Kelly Rowan is only 14 years older than Adam Brody, who plays her son.
Yeah. Hollywood is a crazy place, truly.
And then creator Josh Schwartz was only 26 when the show premiered, making him one of the youngest creators of a major network TV series.
And what's even wilder is like the production value, especially like the first season, it looks like you're watching a movie. And
Mm-hmm.
that's because McG was the producer of
Yep.
it. So if you love the Charlie's Angels movies, this is one of the reasons why you
Yeah.
probably love the OC.
And then there was some recasting. The part of Trey was recast from season 1 to season 2. And then Caitlin was originally played by Shailene Woodley in season 1. And then when Caitlin returns in season 3, Willa Holland had taken over the role.
And Willa looked very much like Misha,
Yes.
I felt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then 3 actors from the Twilight Saga were in season 3. So Nikki Reed, who played Rosalie in Twilight, was Sadie Campbell in the OC. Cam, I'm not going to be able to say his last name. Gandit.
Mm-hmm.
Really sorry, Cam, who played James in Twilight, starred as Volchek.
Which I just feel like in that fourth season and the end of the third season, it just felt like saying Voldemort because
Yeah.
like everyone just kept talking about Volchek. I'm like, where did they get this from?
And then Jackson Rathbone, who played Jasper in Twilight, starred as Caitlin's boyfriend, Justin.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's damn near the whole cast.
Well, let's get into it. So, season one.
I I think it set the tone because it just was really good from start to
Hmm.
finish. And I don't know, the stakes felt high. I think one of the things that attracted me to this show was that I love found family stories
Yeah.
and stories about adoption. And so just like starting off the relationship between Sandy and Ryan. And so you could just see this kid who is actually quite soft-hearted, but has had to be very hard because of the situations he's grown up
Yeah.
in. And just there's just these scenes when he's kind of in a hoodie and like when they say that he could stay and he's just like, thanks, like
Yeah.
you feel for him because he's like a kid, but he has to be a grown up in so many ways.
Yeah. Or like the scene where they're gonna drop him back off at home. Like, because I do appreciate that Kirsten isn't right away like, yeah, sure, stay in the pool house. Like, she has
Right,
reservations of bringing like someone with a record into her home
right,
and exposing him to her child. Like, I very much appreciate that it wasn't immediately like, yeah, sure, come right in. Like she had to get to know Ryan
right.
and create a bond. So when there's that scene where Ryan's like, I'm just gonna go back home, and he walks in and his mom has up and left him,
Heart-wrenching.
it's such a well done scene. It's so well acted, and you just like your heart goes out to Ryan, and it's just like, what more can happen to this kid? And you can see he's a good kid. It's just like he has the influence of his older brother. He has the influence of like where he lives and his upbringing, but like he just needs someone to give him a chance. And luckily, he finds the Cohen family to give him that chance.
I also love the parallels between his biological family and the Cohens.
Hmm.
He has a dad, a mom, and a brother, and that they're all slowly introduced to us throughout the seasons,
Yeah.
and how the Cohens handle having to deal with their counterparts. So for the longest time, like when the mom comes and Kirsten has to deal with fighting her essentially
Hmm.
to who's going to be really Ryan's mom, I guess you could say, and all the hell she goes through with that.
Yeah.
So I always found it funny that in season 4, when Ryan's dad shows up and Sandy's really going through it, how she kind of throws it back at him like, well, I've been there, done that. And
Yeah.
essentially because he didn't really support her too much with how hard that was
Yeah.
with Ryan. And then with Trey over and over again wanting to protect his brother and Seth being one of the ones that kind of actually it's Marissa being in danger that
Hmm.
really clicks for him that I have to let go of my brother
Yeah.
essentially.
So, major plot points of season one. At the end of the very first season is when Ryan meets Marissa, and it's just like immediate, which in that
The
first
end of
ep-
the first episode.
yeah, the end of the
Okay.
first episode.
Hmm.
But it's weird because it's like he walks outside, he's going to go back to his house, and she's outside smoking, and he's like, "Can I have a cigarette?" But then there's no smoking in the entire rest of the season
Yeah.
or series even. It was just weird. It was like that was their bonding moment at the beginning, and then like never again.
I feel like it was just like Ryan with his, I want to say it's like a leather jacket or a black
That has like a
boomer,
sweatshirt
yeah,
hoodie.
bomber jacket kind
Yeah.
of vibe. I'm not sure, but I feel like they were trying to lean into this bad boys 50-ish
Mm-hmm.
vibe, just like with his aesthetics. So the calendar, the cigarette I could see, but I'm sure the whatever the guidelines were, what is it for TV? I can't remember what it's called right now.
The FCC.
Yeah, they probably have a lot of things that when it came, they were pretty strict about smoking. I do, by the way, see smoking making a comeback into media,
Oh,
which isn't great. But anywho, that scene where she asks him, like, who are you? And he's like, anybody you want me to be. I was like, what?
what are we doing, Ryan?
But this scene is so integral because we see it come back multiple times throughout the
Yeah.
series. In the at the end of this first season when Ryan leaves, we see it again at the end of the third season, I think, in the beginning of the fourth season, at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the fourth season.
Yep.
It's just a constant callback of just like Ryan seeing Marissa standing outside in the reflection of Sandy's car as he's driving off.
Yep. We're also introduced to some of the supporting characters. Well, at first they were supporting characters. So we're introduced to Summer, who's Marissa's best friend. And we quickly find out that Seth has been in love with Summer since like the second grade.
Yeah. And
He,
for some reason can't really talk to her.
yeah. But like knows an awful lot about her.
He's a stalker. What's her?
But she likes it.
Yes, she secretly likes it. What is the name of her My Little Pony again? Because he's got a horse.
Yeah, Captain Oates. And then
Uh-huh.
if you hadn't asked me, I would like be able to name it. But now that you've asked me,
Yes.
it's Princess something. Summer.
Princess Sparkle.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I had glitter in my mind and it wouldn't leave. It was adjacent.
So when you saw that she had the My Little Pony, were you like, oh my God, she's one of us?
Oh yeah.
She's a horse girl.
Yeah, I was like, I know that particular line of ponies where they had like glitter embedded, like they were translucent and they had glitter embedded in their bodies, and then they had like these like foil streaks in their hair.
Yeah. Okay, so
Clocked it immediately.
I know we meet a ton of people. We meet
Mhm.
Luke, who is at the time Marissa's boyfriend. We meet her dad, who is constantly Jimmy, like looking like he's about to have an aneurysm because he owes a lot of money and is doing shicey things.
Oh, Tate
Uh,
Donovan.
we we meet Julie, who is
Mhm.
just like a busy Newport woman who's trying to keep up with the Joneses and has a big part of her story in season one is that she has a lot of resentment towards who she calls Kiki, which is Kirsten, because Kirsten and Jimmy used to date hard in high school. So that like comes up a lot because I guess we're supposed to assume during this season that there could be a potential
Well,
cheating
there
situation, maybe.
there is a point where Jimmy kisses Kirsten.
Yeah, but doesn't she tell Sandy?
Eventually,
Yeah,
she doesn't tell him right away. She also doesn't tell him that she loaned Jimmy $100,000.
right. So in the beginning, that's the big setup. But I think the writers must have figured out pretty early on that Sandy and Kirsten's relationship was the bedrock of the show, and like that there wasn't really going to be any fun with having them cheat on each other. And so it's just like
Yeah.
not even the characteristics of either one of them,
Yeah.
to be
Well,
honest.
in the beginning, when they were still forming like the plot of the show, early drafts had Ryan being Sandy's illegitimate child. I'm like, it would never worked. Like that.
No.
The dynamic works because Kirsten and Sandy, even though they go through like challenges in their marriages,
Yeah.
they always come back together and are stronger because of it.
I feel like that storyline killed the show Moesha. They did something very similar when
Yeah.
they had to have Ray J on for some reason. And I think it just like ruined the relationship or the whole dynamic on that show. So I'm glad they didn't do that.
Yeah.
Who else did we meet?
Luke
So,
is really interesting because
yeah.
over the course of the first season, like he's the one essentially fighting with Ryan over Marissa, right?
Hmm.
And then we get this storyline where his dad comes out as gay and it's like a big scandal because his dad's caught cheating with another affluent member of the community, and then Luke kind of feels what it's like to be an outcast because everyone kind of turns on him for his
Hmm.
dad being gay, but the core group still embrace him, and then he becomes like this goofy kid that just like wants to be around. It's almost like the brother,
Like,
Eric Matthew from Boy Meets World.
yeah.
Like halfway through the first season, like his personality completely flips and then he becomes like over the top silly. That's what I felt like Luke kind of turned into
Mm.
towards the end of the first season.
I kind of feel like they didn't know what to do with him if
Yeah.
once he wasn't the foil for Ryan and Marissa,
Yeah.
you know. But one of the things that I really love about the show is how even the characters that are maybe considered villains,
Hmm.
they always try to find like the common ground or the
Yeah.
motivation behind the characters, and it it just has a lot of heart. The show
Hmm.
itself has a lot of heart,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of conversations about forgiveness, I feel like, in this show.
The only one I can't forgive is fucking Oliver Trask. Like that whole storyline makes me want to tear my eyelashes out of my face. Like I hate it so fucking much.
One of the best characteristics about Marissa is her heart and how willing
Hmm.
she is to help others. One of the worst things about Marissa is her heart and how willing she
Yeah.
is to be able to help people. Because it gets to a point where Ryan is just like, you're ruining our relationship by continuing to like be absolutely blinded by these horrible individuals.
Yeah.
And I think it is a balance of just Ryan coming from a different environment and being able to spot things from head on. Marissa just doesn't have that. She thinks in the beginning. And
Yeah.
then I think what ends up happening is like her hope and her belief in people is shattered, and it's a mixed bag. It's no bueno. She
Yeah.
definitely spirals because of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Oliver, so annoying. The only good thing about the Oliver storyline is that we get the infamous New Year's Eve scene in that
Hmm.
episode between Marissa and Ryan that people to this day still continue to play on TikTok, YouTube, whatever you name it,
Yeah.
and do like count. They're like, if you watch it at this time, you'll get to this scene on New Year's.
We touched on Anna a little bit earlier, but we're also introduced to her. She's a transplant from Pennsylvania,
The East Coast, yeah.
and she's the foil to Summer. So it's kind of like Anna is interested in everything that Seth is interested, has a crush on him, kind of like we said, the anti-Summer. But and so it's like this whole thing where they're just fighting over Seth the entire
Yeah.
season. Where
Which is wild for Summer to be fun. And
yeah,
there's many times where she's like, she has to remember that she's that girl
yeah.
with Seth when it comes to Seth.
One of my favorite scenes this summer is just when she's like by herself and she's like, ew, I like Seth Cohen. Like she just like has that realization and she's just like, what the fuck? Like,
I think I said this on another episode that if I have a favorite kind of character in a teen show, it's always the dark-haired best friend that ends up
mhm.
taking over the show.
Yeah.
And Seth, and not Seth, Summer essentially does that. Brooke Davis does that, and Blair Waldorf, sorry,
Waldorf. Yeah.
aka
I
Seth's wife.
yeah. 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 Who else have we not talked about? Oh, Caleb Nickel,
Caleb.
who I like his character. Like even though he's an absolute shitty human being.
Yeah.
He's just played so well.
It's
Like,
the accent. Do we meet Seth's dad in this season? I can't
Seth?
remember. I don't think Mr. Dr. Roberts. When do we meet him?
Summer's dad.
Who did I say?
Seth.
My bad. I'm sorry. It's probably gonna happen more than I would
No,
like.
I think that's season 2 when Seth goes to have
Bit
dinner with
dinner.
him. Because what's his face is there? Who's the other comic book one that they do the Atomic County together?
Oh, the guy she's dating, that tall dude.
Yes.
I can't remember his name.
I'll have to look it up.
No. Shush, shush, shush.
Shush,
Ma, ma, ma. La, 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 la. I don't know what his name
hold
is.
on. Season 2. Caleb, Julie.
Mark, Eric, Matt, David, Andrew. No, none of those. Scott,
No. I want to say it starts with an L,
David.
but I could be wrong. Hold on. Let me look it up.
Yeah, so we do see Caitlin briefly. They live next door. The Coopers live next door to the Cohens.
Mm-hmm.
And in the beginning, we don't see a lot of the core four. In the first season, we see a lot of Seth, Marissa, and Ryan together. Usually Ryan on his bike, Seth on his skateboard, sometimes Marissa on the handlebars, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I love that
Zach.
they don't have cars at first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zach's his name.
Oh, okay, okay. We're introduced that they talk a lot. Like I didn't know what Chino was.
I mean, I just assume like it's outside LA.
I didn't know nothing about that.
Let's see.
And because back then we used to get a cool 22 episodes, it feels like there were so many more seasons of this show.
Well, because it's the way that the episodes were written.
Hmm.
It was like instead of having like one plot point that was like finished up by the end of the season, it was like they almost had a mid-season plot tie up
Yeah.
and then an end of season plot. Plus then
Yeah.
all of the mini ones that are going on per episode.
Right.
So it's
Yeah,
like I was rewatching season 3. Johnny dies in the middle of season 3.
mm,
Where like I feel like on any other show that would have been like a season cliffhanger, like did he fall, like
yeah.
whereas like, oh, that was just an episode and then we keep on trucking, and then the real season 3 finale was who's gonna die. So they had 2 kids die in season 3.
Well, I think this happened too is because we got 22, 23 episodes, but we have to also remember that the way that it was is that you would kick off the show usually if you were starting off the season in August, and then you would have sweeps in like November,
Yep.
and then you would be on break for the holiday and then come back, and then you would have May as like the season finales ending. So that's why we were getting like these two bridge of stories. Even Veronica Mars, we had like some ending to a culmination and then kick it off with something else, but then the long term mystery happening. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So we find out Kirsten has another sister, Haley, that shows up, and Haley's kind of like a party girl living on daddy's money. Just comes back when she needs something. And then we see more of Haley in season 2 after the fall of Jimmy Cooper.
Amanda Rigetti played Haley, and I want to say I don't know if I think it was after season 2.
Mm-hmm.
She leaves the show because she got another Fox show, and I couldn't remember. I feel like it was almost like a spinoff, like she was playing her character but on another show, and I think it was called North Shore.
Oh, that makes sense.
Let me, ooh, the things that I still remember. Girl, aren't you proud of me?
So proud. We also get towards the end or like mid season one, we're introduced to Alex, played by Olivia Wilde. She's the manager at the bait shack where Seth goes to get a job.
Bait shop.
Bait shop. Yeah, thank you. And so, and then this becomes the catalyst for introduction of like indie rock bands that start appearing on the show. And so it'll be like whole episode. And then it's like, hey, I got tickets to see Modest Mouse tonight. Do you want to go? And then they all end up at the bait shop watching Modest Mouse at the end of the episode. Like,
And
so,
you know, I didn't know who none of these people were.
well, it was a way to introduce new music, which was super interesting.
Yeah.
Or like music that wouldn't have been well known outside of like the circle that they were like introduced in, you know?
Right.
So some of the artists that performed on the OC were the Killers, Death Cab for Cutie, Modest Mouse, Phantom Planet, who also sings the theme song,
Mm-hmm. Didn't they
California.
sing something on Veronica Mars too or something? Or am I mixing that up? Who sang the lead song for Veronica Mars?
Again, if you had asked me any other time,
Warb, Wob,
Dandy
uh,
Warhols.
thank you.
Yeah. I love how you just rah, rah,
Wah,
rah,
wah, wah,
rah, and
wah.
I pulled that out from that. And Rooney was also a music cameo.
I know, because like I remember seeing Rooney perform. I was like, wait a minute, isn't that the kid from Princess
Michael
Diaries?
Moskowitz.
Yeah, and I'm like, and ain't that Jason Schwartzman? All right, I looked it up.
Okay.
So Amanda did go to the North Shore for that TV show, but she wasn't playing her same character. And it
Okay.
lasted for one season, 2004 to 2005. So literally, probably why we saw more of her in season two is because after season one, she went to North Shore, wipe out, like that pun. And then she came back to the OC. And funny enough, guess who was on the North Shore in that one season?
Who?
Leighton Meester. That was,
Really?
I think it might have been before she was on Entourage. Yeah.
Okay.
So OC adjacent.
So I'm trying to think. There weren't many cameos the first season. I don't think. I think starting season two, when it started getting legs, I think the only one we had was Olivia Wilde. But it makes sense now that they saw her in initial casting.
Yeah, and I don't even know if that would be considered a cameo per
Yeah.
se, because like we didn't know who she was at the time yet.
Yeah.
But
I'm trying to think. I think Alex and Marissa date in season two. Seth and Alex date in season one. I think. Or
is
is it
it?
all in
I,
season two?
I think it's season two. I don't think
Okay.
Alex comes till season two. I don't think we see her in season one yet.
Okay.
Because in season two, we meet Ryan's best friend from home, Teresa. So we get that whole
Yes.
season finale cliffhanger where Ryan leaves because him and Teresa rekindle because Marissa on some other shit yet again.
Yep.
So he starts dating Teresa and she turns out to be pregnant. And so Ryan wants to do the right thing and goes back to Chino at the end of season one. And we see Seth on his boat thingy. What does he got? What's that thing he'd
It's a
be sailing
sailboat.
on?
The
His
summer
boat,
breeze.
Summer Breeze, and he disappears and leaves Summer. And so Summer and Seth aren't together that summer,
Yep.
and Ryan and Seth aren't together that summer, and Marissa, God knows what. All at the same time, we're finding out that Jimmy has conned everybody, doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have any money, has to move into an apartment. Julie ain't about that.
Yep.
She's got to get her money. And then next thing we know, she with Caleb.
I love that Sandy calls them the gruesome twosome, like any chance he gets. And Kirsten's like, yeah, it's like Kind of my best friend and my dad. You talk about
Right.
there.
Now, when does Marissa start losing her shit? I think it is season 2 when she starts
2.
rebelling
Mhm.
because at this point she's mad at her mom for like leaving her dad high and dry, but we have to understand that her mom she said, I'm from the sticks. I lived in a trailer park. I am not
Yep.
going back to that. It's just not happening.
Yeah.
And I was promised a life, another lifestyle, and I refuse. And so she definitely goes in with Caleb, but they don't get married, and that becomes a complication later in season 2
No, they do
because
get married. The season finale of
is them getting
season 1
married?
is them getting married.
Okay, so yeah. And then he has a heart attack.
End of season 2.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Confused. But like, I think he didn't update his will or something happened where she was not financially stable.
Well, so he was wanting to divorce her,
Right.
and if it was under a year, and they were like in the like 330 days mark, and so he's like, we need to get this rolling, because if it was under a year, then she got nothing. But
Yeah.
then it did, like, he had a change of heart, and I feel like he was gonna update his will and then never
Got
got the
around to do.
chance
Yeah.
to do it. Yeah.
Because she was gonna drug him, I think, or do
Mm-hmm.
something to him. And she like had a super romantic night and they were out in this like jacuzzi and he had his heart attack.
Yeah.
And at this point, they have sent Caitlin off to boarding school.
Yeah, Caitlin's just gone for like 2 seasons.
Yeah, we don't see Caitlin anymore. But we do see Marissa going back and forth between her parents' house or
Mm.
whatever. We have this whole subplot line at first where Ryan is living in because Kirsten and her dad they sell houses. So
Mhm.
there's this model home that Ryan is staying at that Seth and Marissa are trying to help him with. Is that season 1 or season 2? That's season
Season
1,
1.
right?
Yeah. That's
And
before they officially become Ryan's guardians.
right before they adopt him.
Yeah.
We get our first Christmaka, and that was like huge in the zeitgeist that,
Yes.
because there were so many Jewish people that had celebrated both. And so to have like a word for it, and a lot of people felt representation from, because we really don't get a ton of Jewish characters, and
Mm.
the Cohens felt way more Jewish than Ross and Monica, because
Yeah.
I feel like Ross and Monica forgot they were Jewish all the time on that show. Maybe Ross didn't, maybe because David Schwimmer is actually Jewish,
Yeah.
but Monica was like, oh yeah.
So I'm trying to think if we missed anything. So yeah, season 1 ends. Caleb and Julie get
Oh,
married. Caleb essentially like strong arms Marissa into moving in with them.
right. He, I don't know if he blackmails her or something. There's something that he uses it's the dad. I
Yeah,
think it's
Jimmy.
that he'll leave the dad alone or something.
Yeah.
And at some point, Jimmy leaves, and I think it's in season 2 where he leaves the show. But we do have to speak on the fact that when this show came out, it completely changed. You have Seth Cohen and the rise of the nerd, right? So we're in the midst of like Steve Jobs and his turtleneck, and you've got Seth being like a cool nerd where in the tropes of the 80s and 90s, like nerd was not what you wanted to be. And the cool kid was actually the guy that we had to hate. So it was really interesting to see how all the geek culture, Comic-Con, Marvel, Harry Potter, emo music, all that stuff started to become really mainstream at this time.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see like the rise of like Judd Apatow in this time period too, and our rom-coms change. So it's just like this crazy shift that happens during this time. I don't know how we let it happen.
Yeah.
But Seth Cohen was the gateway drug, 100%.
Yeah. Oh, I found it. So there was another subplot. There's so many subplots. There's a subplot of Jimmy and Sandy buying a restaurant and opening it together. But the
Right,
guy that gives them their liquor license was one of the people that Jimmy ripped off. And so he's like, I'm not giving you a restaurant. So Caleb agrees to buy the restaurant. So Jimmy's like, okay, at least I'll have money. But then Caleb goes to Marissa and is like, I'm not going to go through with the deal if you don't move in with me and your mother because it'll make your mother happy. And
right.
so Marissa agrees to move in with Caleb and Julie so that Jimmy can get the money.
So we talked about the drama of Oliver, but
Yep.
we cannot forget Tijuana.
Oh,
This is the
Tijuana.
this is the first instance of us really seeing Marissa lose fucking control
Hmm.
and where her extremes can go. And also, this is like we forgot one of the characters, which is Ryan's Jeep. That
Sandy's
is
Jeep. They always refer to it as Sandy's Jeep to just clarify. They ain't out here giving him cars. He's borrowing them.
yes, they're borrowing it. So at first it's the Jeep, and I think eventually we get a Range Rover, I
Hmm.
think, by season 4.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it also seems that like Seth and Ryan don't have individual cars. They kind
Mm-mm.
of share a car,
Yeah.
share Sandy's car, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah. So they go down to Tijuana and Marissa's really upset about her. I think this is when she finds out her dad and her mom are divorcing.
Yeah.
So she's real upset.
Also, she
Mhm.
finds out, this is when she finds out that Lucas, no,
Luke
Luke, sorry,
had
that
been
Luke is
cheating on
cheating
her.
on her. So
Yeah.
when they're in Tijuana, they spot it. Brian is there, sees everything, and
Yep.
I think they fight in the club.
Yeah, and Marissa goes back to the hotel, but Summer is like, because we always get these like one-liners from Summer about her step monster, as she refers to her. Her
Yeah,
stepmom is just always like drugged out on the couch. Like, so Summer's like, since we're in Tijuana, I have to pick up like my step monster's Quaaludes or whatever it is that she
right.
takes. And so Marissa finds those and takes a bunch and like drinks a bunch of tequila, and she literally stumbles out of the bar because I think she's in like this really seedy bar drinking. She stumbles out and she goes into an alleyway and then completely passes out. And by the miracle of TV, her friends are able to find her in
Mm-mm.
some random alley in Tijuana.
And Ryan has to pick her up, and this is just foreshadowing. Well, we do
Yep.
not know the trauma that is coming for us.
Yes.
And they had to pump her stomach, I think. And
Yeah.
I think they do tell do her parents find out?
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
that's when Julie's like, "You stay away from it," because she thinks it's Ryan. Ryan's like,
right.
"I
But
didn't have
no,
anything to fucking do with it."
Julie is so mean to Ryan
So mean.
until the very last season.
Yeah,
She ain't having none of I'm like, your daughter is the bad influence.
yes. Ryan's always picking up her fucking pieces.
Yeah. Ugh,
Tried
what a
to
mess.
frame Ryan for shooting Trey, like paid Trey to say that Ryan shot him.
Mm-mm.
Like, what the fuck, Julie?
Yeah. She's not mother of the year, I'll tell you that.
Well,
But
and
what
they make Marissa go to therapy after her overdose in Tijuana. But then, like, in the beginning of season 2, when Marissa's like dating the pool guy or the gardener, and then like just screaming randomly and like throwing pool furniture into the pool, like, maybe she needs more therapy.
you
Maybe
need
she
that
needs
belt.
inpatient therapy at this point because you can see that things are not
She's
okay with
unraveling.
her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And she's just put under a lot of stress, and her parents have not been paying attention to her. Even
Yeah.
when her parents were together, they weren't paying attention. So
Yeah.
It's not good. So we're done with season one. Season two, it gets crazier because now we have Marissa. So at this point, she's had two pet projects. She had Oliver, and sorry, but Ryan is definitely one of her pet projects.
Yeah.
And then after Julie loses all her money, Marissa has to. Why does Marissa have to go to another school? She gets kicked out of school.
She shoots Trey, and she gets kicked out.
That was season two?
Let me see.
That had to be season two.
I think Trey.
Yeah, that's season two for sure. It would have been way too much to have Trey in season one.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out because I know this season two. Yes. So I think like Trey comes back like mid season two.
Yeah, but Trey comes back into Ryan's life.
Mhm.
They change the actor. His name I think is Logan in real life, and he looks very similar to who's the guy that plays in Venom?
Oh, Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. Dead ringer for Tom Hardy for sure. And he seems to have a liking towards Marissa. And so that, of course, is causing problems. And Marissa's trying her best to like avoid his advances. And it gets to, but she's again wanting another project.
Mm-hmm. So
And so
she like helps him find an apartment, and then like
right.
Ryan and Seth go to South Florida for spring break to go visit the Nana.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Marissa's like, well, I'll go and like keep Trey company. And then Trey's like, hi, I'm fucking Coke. And like,
But Ryan told her, do not go over there.
yeah,
She didn't listen.
yeah. And then we also have, oh, what is her name? The troublesome girl that like is found floating in the pool during Trey's birthday party.
Oh, I don't remember.
She like does she has the OD. She's the little blonde one.
Lindsay, oh no.
I'm trying to remember her name.
I can't remember. But so Joshua Schwartz said that the second season was designed to slow down the storytelling because the first season, like we said, felt like we had 5 seasons hit us in the face. He wanted to work on evolving the characters and rather just focusing on all these crises. He could have lied to me because I thought it was more crisis. But I do want to note that Joshua Schwartz is the creator and showrunner, but Stephanie Savage was his like partner in crime, and they to this day continue to work together on different projects like Gossip Girl, Heart of Dixie, and I do believe they have a new show coming out very soon too. I can't remember. We get Lindsay Gardner in this season, so that's a new
really
relationship.
like her. Like,
Yeah.
I really like that character. I wish they would have just, but again, it's Ryan and Marissa have to come back together. But like, she was so good for Ryan.
Yeah, she
And
was
Ryan
really
was good
sweet.
for her.
Yeah, I think they were great, but I do think it was a little incestuous. I know they're not related, but we end up finding out that Lindsay is Kirsten's half sister from Caleb.
Yeah. Yeah. So the subplots on this are we come back from summer. Seth is still up with Luke and his dad in Washington State. And so, like, Kirsten's like, Sandy, you better go and get our fucking kid or don't come home. Then what else? Sandy's like mentor, law professor, comes to him and is like, I'm dying. I want to find my daughter, who happened to be like Sandy's like love before Kirsten. And so then we get this whole subplot where he thinks Rebecca's dead. Rebecca's actually alive. Now he's like hiding her, but doesn't want to tell Kirsten because then that'll make her an accomplice. And Kirsten's like, it's this girl that like you used to love. You think she's been dead for 30 years. Now she's hiding in your office. Like, what the fuck's going on? So Kirsten starts drinking. Then Kirsten starts, no, that's season 3. We're not there yet. What else? Oh, we do see Kirsten start to pick up on the drinking. She's
Yes.
starting to drink more and more, or like if there's an issue, she solves it with alcohol.
Yeah. And the dad, you know, what really pushes it into high gear. So like from the beginning of the season, she's lost Ryan, Seth has gone AWOL. She finds out that her dad is dating her arch nemesis. Jimmy is married, sorry.
Yeah.
Married too. Her BFF slash ex-lover, Jimmy, is spiraling, but kind of figuring that out. And it's just a lot of stress. Her sister comes back, which stresses her out.
Yeah.
And now she finds out that her dad had he cheated on her mom, which she adores her mom. Her mom has passed. So it's just a lot. And what really just pushes it, I think, over the full edge is when he dies. That episode where when she finds out like that he dies, she just picks up the bottle because I think they started talking to her about drinking. And when she finds out her dad dies, she just picks up the bottle and she looks at everybody's like, don't even try it.
Well, because she had just had this huge fight with her dad and like had pretty much told him what a horrible person he is. And then he has a heart attack and passes away. And she's like half the things I said I didn't mean, and now I'll never be able to tell him. And he like essentially she thinks he died like hating her.
Yeah, which it couldn't be farther from the truth. I think
he writes
a letter.
He wrote her a letter that she reads later. We also see that Summers now is dating Zach because Seth just like up and left her.
And Zach is like a hybrid of the Lukes of the world with a Seth. So he's just as nerdy.
Yeah.
Summer has found her type. He's just as nerdy, but he's hot.
Yes.
Like he's acceptable for her to be dating. Also noted that this season has 24 episodes, which it's crazy. We're only getting 8 episodes now in a show. Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, no, it's 24 episodes. Oh, and this is when we get Alex. Alex is in this season as well. And I think she is the manager at the bait shop.
Yes.
Because Seth works for her.
Yeah, and Seth and her start kind of dating. Like, really, she's just like, I like to make out.
Yeah.
You're here. Sure. And then after Seth and Alex break up, Marissa and Alex start hanging out and they start dating, which I read that this love story was cut short because they were worried that the studio was going to start coming down on them and saying, like, you can't do this. So, like, they, like, cut
but she also she becomes really aggressive with Ryan at some points, mainly because she's getting frustrated with Marissa being Marissa. And at some point, it looks like she wants to fight Ryan. I'm like, girl, what are we doing?
Oh, and then we have Emmanuel Chikiri as Alex's ex-girlfriend.
Oh, right.
That comes to town and is like trying to win her back.
I'm trying to think who else is in this season. I think that's it. For season 2.
Yeah.
Well, then we get to the second half of season 2 where we meet the boys from Marissa's new high school.
No, that's season 3.
Is it? Okay, then we're done with season 2. Let's move to season 3.
Hold on, I'm reading. Okay, so halfway through season 2, Trey gets out of jail, like we said. Marissa befriends him. He attacks her, tries to sexually assault her. She fights him off. But she doesn't tell Ryan because she knows, like, Ryan.
It's a wrap.
Yeah. So the season 2 finale is Caleb's funeral. But also it's when Ryan finds out about Marissa and Trey and goes to take
during spring break. So when they were in spring break, that's when Trey tried to hurt Marissa.
Correct.
And so then there is this fight between Ryan and Trey. And Trey has a gun, I think, in the room. And there's he is really beating Ryan to death, essentially. I
He's
think he
like
even took
choking him.
a phone book, a
Yeah.
phone, like all sorts of things. And then Marissa doesn't know what to do, so she pulls out the gun. And I don't think she really means to shoot it, but she does.
Yeah.
And she
And so,
shoots him.
yeah, she shoots Trey to save Ryan. And so season 3 opens up with the aftermath. Trey is still in a coma. So we don't have Trey's perspective. We just have Ryan and Marissa who have talked to the cops and said it was,
An accident.
well, not even an accident, like defense because
Right.
Trey was attacking Ryan type thing. But then we get one of the worst plot lines, in my opinion, where we get this new dean of, I can't remember what his name is.
He just has it out for Marissa in general.
Yeah. Well, because come to find out, he's fucking a student who is Taylor Townsend, who is Marissa's rival and wants to be the chair and plan all the things at school and stuff.
I love Taylor.
I do really love Taylor. Like, and I love that Seth and then Summer kind of come to realize like she's so aggro just because she's trying so hard because she has no friends.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and like we just need to deal with her crazy and then she'll calm down and she'll be, because like Taylor does really care
Yeah.
and she really tries. It's just she goes way overboard on stuff.
Yeah. She's a lot.
Yeah.
But I grew to love her very quickly, even when she was like an instigator in this whole thing. So we do get Taylor, but we have to remember that this season 3 is where everything goes downhill. Like
Yeah.
the high of the OC just does not work. And I think I don't know what really happens, but it could be. I'm just, I mean, it's the storylines, but we're about to go into a recession as a country.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the lavish lifestyle
Yeah.
kind of thing maybe wasn't as entertaining, I
Yeah.
suppose. I'm not sure. I'm just guessing, but people fall off. And I believe it's moved to Thursday, or it was always on Thursday, but like its biggest competitor is Grey's Anatomy. And if you think about what seasons were happening during this season, you were not competing with
Which
Grey's.
technically the OC exists within the same
Universe, because they
universe
talk
as,
about it, yeah.
yeah, because at the end, Summer's dad, who's a plastic surgeon, goes to work for a quirky little hospital in Washington called Seattle Grace.
I absolutely loved that.
I do too.
And it was really hard. I was glad we got TiVo because I was like, I don't know I can't pick which one I'm gonna watch.
Yeah.
Grey's Anatomy was literally, you could not miss an episode. You had to watch it live, or if you went to work the next day, like people were gonna talk about it. So sorry, OC.
We also, I think it was at the end of season 2, Kirsten's drinking spirals out of control. She's involved in a car accident. And so, and even after the car accident, she's still like, I'm not fucking going to rehab.
That that episode when they finally do the intervention. So you have her sister, I think even Julie might have been there.
Ryan was
And
definitely
Ryan.
there.
So when Ryan comes, like everyone has said everything. Now it's down to Ryan and Seth. So Ryan comes and says whatever. And she has like her mouth was no joke during this episode because she was telling everybody about themselves because I think Kirsten had held on a lot of stuff internally.
Yeah.
So she was giving it to everybody. And when Ryan said what he said to her, her response
Well,
was,
before he says anything, and like he walks in and he's about to start talking, and she's like, "I don't want to hear a word out of you.
I took you in, yes.
Yeah, I allowed you to come into this house."
And he was like, yeah, because my mom could not take care of me because she was an alcoholic, and now I'm having to deal with this again, essentially.
Yeah.
And that softened her. And then the final blow was finally Seth, who did not want to be involved in any of this, finally says, you know what? wrap it up, Kirsten, baby
Yeah.
girl. You ain't doing well.
Yeah. So then we get to season 3. Kiki's doing really well in their rehab. She's going through all the steps. She's like essentially ready to come home, except for she's made a little friend played by Jerry Ryan. So Charlotte is like, hey, like, are you sure you want to jump right back into your life? Like, maybe I have this little cabin. We could go there for a couple of weeks and kind of almost treat it as a halfway house. Like,
Hmm.
start to like get reacclimated to real life, but still be kind of like in confines type thing.
Right.
What Kirsten doesn't know is Charlotte's a grifter. She's looking for a rich bitch to like do a long con on.
Mm.
And Kirsten just doesn't take the bait. Kirsten is just like, no, I'm good.
Right.
Like, but Kirsten introduces Charlotte in passing to Julie. And so Charlotte's like, oh, okay, Kirsten won't do it. But Julie's married to Caleb, or was married to Caleb Nichols. She's loaded. She lives in this like palatial mansion.
Right.
But come to find out, when Caleb's will is read,
She's not getting
she's not
anything.
getting it. Like, he's in such debt that like everything is essentially being repoed. Meanwhile, Jimmy has come back in and is like, hey, Julie, I still have your ring. Let's get remarried. And he's doing the same fucking shit that he did before. Like, he went to Hawaii. He was supposed to sell a yacht for someone, which he did, but then he kept the money. And so now this guy is after him, and he's like, I just have to wait until the will is read. And then the will is read, and Jimmy's like, fuck. Like, so Jimmy does not learn his lesson. Meanwhile, he has convinced Marissa and Julie, like, we're going to get remarried. We're going to all move to Hawaii as a family. It's
Doesn't
going
he
to be
take
great.
Marissa? Does he take Marissa's college fund or something? Why do I think he did something like
I'm
that?
sure he did, but I don't remember that being a plot line.
Oh. So we get the Johnny storyline, which is just I don't even care. There's a character named Johnny, and we see Marissa spend so much time with her. Well, I mean with
Yeah.
him. Then there's a guy named Volchuk at their high school, I
I
think.
think Volchek doesn't go to their high school. Volchek is Johnny's surfing nemesis,
Oh, okay.
which we find out later after Johnny dies that Volchek and Johnny were friends, but then they like always got compared to one another, and Johnny was always better than Volchek. So Volchek is like got a chip on his shoulder about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Johnny right away, everyone is clocked. Like, Johnny loves fucking Marissa. Like, and Marissa's like, no, we're just friends. I swear. Ryan, I swear. Even though I'm spending every fucking day with Johnny. And Ryan's like, what's the deal, bro? And then Marissa and Ryan go to Johnny's surfing competition where he's gonna like compete to earn a spot on a world tour. And Marissa and Ryan end up fighting in the parking lot, and Ryan takes off. And Johnny's like, I'll go after him. Why, bitch? Why are you going and getting involved in her shit? Oh, because you love her. And a car is speeding through the parking lot. Johnny gets hit, busts his ACL, can't surf anymore. And now Marissa is like, I'll take care of you, Johnny. And so she's just there every fucking day. And he's like, I don't want you or need you here. And she's like, what are you talking about? It's so
So
infuriating.
annoying. And then there's Chili also
Fucking
there.
chili.
Yeah. And like all this stuff is happening. And then Volchuk. So she starts dating Volchuk, I think after Johnny dies. Why does Johnny falls off the roof?
So at this point, Caitlin has come back for her mid-winter break. And she's come back because she's like, rob these guys. It's like such a stupid storyline. And Caitlin ends up befriending Johnny. And then Caitlin likes Johnny. And so she convinces him to kiss her on her birthday. And then they go to the beach. And Johnny's like, really upset because Marissa's pretty much been like like finally told him, she wrote him a letter and said, I think of you as my best friend, but like not any more than that after he confesses his love to her. And so he gets drunk on the beach and then he's like, there's a cliff, let me climb it, blah, blah, blah. So Caitlin calls Marissa and was like, Johnny's drunk up on a cliff. I need help. And then like just as they get there, Ryan goes to like pull Johnny away from the edge of the cliff and Johnny falls.
I was not upset.
It,
I did not care.
it makes season 3 feel so long.
Yeah, it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
And so
But then,
then, mhm.
oh, so then we get introduced to Johnny's cousin Sadie that comes to help his mom like pack up the house and like fix it up so that they can sell it. And Ryan befriends Sadie because Ryan tells Marissa, like, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep
Right.
with the back and forth and the like, will you, won't you? Like, I get that your friend just died, but like, we cannot keep doing this same
Right.
dance.
And so
And
she goes off the
ugh,
bandwagon and she's with Volchek and she's drinking and doing drugs and all sorts of stuff.
yeah. And Ryan starts dating Sadie and like she's so good for him because she has like her own little business and she's like even though she's not a grown up, she's a grown up and like handles her shit and takes care of things and knows how to like fix things around the house. Like she's just, and even Kirsten after meeting Sadie is like, we really like her and we think she's really good for you.
Yeah, I just feel like throughout the show, Marissa ruins all of his relationships because
Yes.
literally every girl that Ryan dates, I didn't have a problem with them. There wasn't anybody he dated that I was like, oh, go back to Marissa. I thought they were all very cute.
So at the end of this season,
When Marissa starts to finally realize that like she's been out of control, she's trying to turn her life around. She wants to graduate with her friends
mhm,
because now she's able to come back to the school because Taylor helped them get this vice president or whatever you call him. I don't know what he was, dean guy
mhm.
off their case. And so it's really happy. Like the core four is back together. They've added some new people, as in friendship wise, I guess you could say. And Marissa is trying really hard to like shake off Volchek, and Seth and Summer are working really hard to actually, I think, get Marissa and Ryan to be back together so that they can be the foursome.
I
I
know
think.
they wanted them to be both accepted back to school.
Yeah.
So they finally get Marissa back into Harbor. I can't remember if they want them together or not. I'm trying to remember.
I can't remember either, but they're all hanging out. They're good. They have graduation
Oh,
and
Summer and
Volch.
Seth have a conflict because Seth's dream was always to go to Brown. So Summer is like, okay, well, I don't want to be a part. And we find out that Summer got really stellar SAT scores. So she's like,
Right.
hey, I might be able to go too. Well, Summer gets into Brown, Seth doesn't. And
Right.
so that creates tension between Seth and Summer because like the plan was always they were going to
To
go
go
together
together.
and it's like been Seth's dream and he was trying to be supportive of Summer, but now he's like
And
really bummed.
And Anna comes back. She's the one
Yes.
who introduces Seth to Rizdi because
Yes.
in the midst of all this, he has made a comic book with Zach and it's based off their lives and there's all these different characters based on them.
Mm-hmm.
And the comic book actually takes off and does well. And so he realizes he can go to Rizdi, which is in Rhode Island
Mm-hmm.
and
They'll
not
be
too
close.
far from Brown.
Yeah. And then Marissa decides that she's going to go.
She's going to go to so Marissa and Ryan are going to go to the same alma mater as not Seth, Sandy and Kirsten.
Yeah.
They're going to UCLA. Is that where?
Berkeley.
Berkeley. Thank you. Is that not together?
No, UCLA is in LA. Berkeley is in like.
My bad. I don't know why I thought they went together.
They are far apart.
I thought there was a satellite college.
So what else happened? Trying to think. Because
Well, she's trying to avoid Volchak.
well, yes, but also she wants to go and live with her dad on the boat and like go and help
Yes.
him. So does she not get into that college? I can't remember.
I think she wants to take a break. I can't remember.
Let me see. Yes, you're right. She does decide to take a break for school, go live with her dad for a while. But Volchek is pissed at Ryan. He's pissed that Marissa's leaving. And Ryan and Marissa are driving, and Volchek starts chasing them and essentially runs them off the road. The car flips, and then the end of season 3 is just Ryan carrying Marissa's lifeless body.
And let me tell you, that whole summer, I was like, she gonna be back. I was in the message boards. I was on online. I was like, nah,
It's all
they ain't
right.
killing
It's all
her.
right.
And you couldn't tell me anything. Now, the thing that there was a lot of stuff on the show happening behind the scenes, like drama, and there was a lot of, you see Misha Barton all over the paparazzi. You see her with like the Lindsay Lohans, the Paris Hiltons of the world partying and whatnot. Again, like we said, she was one of the youngest people on the show. And I do think I would listen to the rewatch show that
Rachel and Melinda did.
yes, Rachel and Melinda did, and they did have her on, and they kind of were able to talk about some of the issues that were happening. And there were a lot of people feeding misinformation, and this happens a lot, especially with like women on a show. We saw it on 90210, we saw it on Charmed, we saw it on so many different shows on One Tree Hill. Like it behooves these producers to keep the women from like bonding and having a good experience so
Yeah.
that you can play them against each other. So they pretty much said that it just came to a head behind the scenes that like they felt the only way to move the story to progress the story, but also deal with the onset stuff that was happening was to kill off her character, which I think is
Which they
insane.
teased as just like one of the main characters was going to die. Like you
Yeah.
didn't know who it was going to be until
Yeah.
you watched the finale.
I was on the edge of my seat, girl. And still when it happened, I was like, nah, y'all lying.
She'll be back.
She'll be back. There's no way. She did not come back, y'all. Spoilers. Season 4. We find out she's dead. And where we land is like months after she's died. So we don't go through the whole grieving or the entire funeral situation. We see Ryan in a fight club situation. I don't know. He fighting.
It feels like the beginning of like a superhero movie. Like he's just gonna get his superpower soon, or like you're gonna find out that like he can heal himself, and so he's just in this fucking fight club. Like it just feels so disjointed from every other season, which season 4 does feel different.
Yeah.
I like season 4. I know a
Yeah.
lot of fans
Hate it.
hate it.
I dare say, I know this is crazy, but I look at them, it's almost like I can't look at the OC as like this holistic thing. I look at it as different, literally seasons of life, right?
Yeah.
And the fourth season, for some reason, is a comfort season to me. If I go back and watch the show, because really there was so much drama in the first 3 seasons, and I feel like stressed watching it, right? But the fourth season just feels cozy to me.
It's a warm blanket.
Once we get over Ryan feeling so upset about the whole, blaming himself for Marissa's death, I think it feels a lot better. Then you have Seth and Summer at this point. Seth Summer decides to go to college
Mhm.
instead of deferring or anything like that, mainly because she is grieving in her own way after losing Marissa. We see Julie soften, and at some point, Julie starts dating Summer's dad. So she
That's
moves
towards
into,
the end of season 3.
yeah, so she moves into the house. And so at this point, we have Summer, Julie, Caitlin, and then eventually we get Taylor who moves in. Taylor, I think, starts this, I think she's hiding out. She moved to Paris and then comes back because
Oh,
she
Taylor.
married some man and
Henri.
Henri, and it's
who
like a whole thing.
who writes a book about her peaches.
Yeah, it's what I love about adding her to the season, which funny enough, her name is Autumn in real life, so I
Mhm.
just think Autumn and Summer, perfect. Okay. But it adds a layer of camp to the show. Like the show
Yes.
was very dramatic, but the fourth season is very comedic, it feels,
Yeah.
and doesn't take itself seriously and very meta. So I hope that people will eventually appreciate this fourth season like we've come to appreciate Grease too.
So yeah, Taylor comes back from Paris. She has a little secret. She got married to Henri Michel.
Which, when you think about it, Taylor's 18 years old
Yeah.
and Henri looks like a grown ass man
And has written a book, and you
about her.
find out the peaches are her breasts. Like
I mean,
yeah.
I
Uh,
think we got that. Yeah.
but Ryan and Taylor start an unlikely friendship, then
Friendship.
that starts to
But they
evolve into
started
something more.
their friendship in season 3.
Mhm.
Like when they were all trying to help Marissa, like eventually, even in season 3, you see Ryan and her are pretty cool at that
Mhm.
point. But Seth starts to see that her intentions are not as sweet, like
Mhm.
that she has a crush on Ryan. And he's like, no, absolutely not. Ryan ends up working at the local Mexican restaurant in the plaza that they always hang out at, and Seth is working at the comic book store, but she just doesn't care. She is going for it.
Yeah.
Taylor wants Ryan. Ryan is like obsessed with Volchuk, so she decides she's going to be his sleep, I don't know, coach or
Yeah,
something to help
like
him sleep at night.
yeah, like anytime he like gets mad, like she's like, "I'll come over. It's
Yeah.
fine."
She
And
does all this stuff when initially she really does have something to help him sleep, but she doesn't want to do that. She wants to like spend time with him.
yeah.
At the same time, Julie and Kirsten have started some sort of dating business
Yes.
that quickly turns into a solicitation hooker vibe with boys being
Yes.
the for cougars. It's very weird.
Is there not a plot point where someone gets STI and they have to like call one of the
The guys
boys,
get
right?
them, yeah,
Yeah.
and they have to call all of the ladies and stuff. And so essentially Julie is doing this behind Kirsten's back and she
Yeah.
finds out and they're like the yin to each other's yang, very unlikely besties. But I really, really love Julie in this season. She comes into her own and her
Mhm.
relationship with Caitlin, and she talks about the things that she learned, that she made mistakes when it came to Marissa. So that's really nice. And then her and Ryan have like a really sweet moment. I think I also love that after the first episode, so they really do kind of close the book on all the drama from
Mhm.
season 3. You do see Ryan going through the grief process. You see Summer going through the grief process, and
Yeah, Summer
it's
throws
really nice.
herself, she's at Brown, so she throws herself into activism. And so
Yeah.
she befriends this guy named Che.
Mm. Yeah.
played by Chris Pratt. And he kind of is guiding her through like being an activist. But unfortunately, she gets kicked out of Brown because Che convinces her to liberate bunnies from a lab. And so Summer's kicked out and comes home with these two bunnies, pancakes and flapjack, right?
Absolutely. And I was sitting holding my own bunny at the time watching the season 4. I was so happy when she got Flapjack. And when her and Seth were like, when she was like, it's my baby or something. Oh, it's just so cute.
Yeah. What else happens? Eventually, Seth proposes to Summer, and so now we see them navigating being fiancés.
Wait, honestly, okay, I had to think about it. Yes, but they have like this weird situation going on between the two of them because there's a massive earthquake that hits
Mm-hmm.
and breaks the house. So at they're all staying at Summer's house at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Taylor finally Taylor and Ryan's relationship is never stable.
Yeah.
It takes Taylor forever to finally even convince Ryan that he likes her. And when I say emotional growth for him, the things that he does for Taylor is like a growner version of
Mm-hmm.
Ryan that like it's not this teenage angst situation. Can you hear a lot of noise?
No.
Okay. And then Taylor's ready to get married in her mind in some
Yeah.
ways sometimes, or at least that's what Ryan perceives. And so it's really cute to see them like dating slowly and
Mm-hmm.
you see Ryan laugh a lot, which we never saw in the previous seasons. Also, Ryan's dad comes back into the picture in a really skeevy way. We meet so Julie is dating this young guy who's a tennis coach or
Yeah.
whatever, and Caitlin is in love with him. And it's his father that really is obsessed with Julie. What's his
The
name?
bullet.
The Bullet, right? And Julie, of course, is trying to find her new sugar daddy, so she can't be with this young guy.
He's like
She
an
needs,
oil magnate.
right. Because I think she didn't marry Summer's dad, or maybe she did. I
They
don't
were
know.
engaged. I don't think they ever married though. But I
Yeah,
think Neil was always very sweet because I think that's what happened. It was like Neil was moving to Seattle Grace, but
right,
he's like, I'm still keeping this house. You can live here. Like, Summer's going to be here anyway, type thing.
right. They they broke up. That
Yeah.
didn't go well for them. I think she was grieving really hard until the Volchuk thing was able
Hmm.
to close the door on that. But yeah, Ryan's dad comes back in the picture and is really loving on Julie,
Julie.
which
Yeah.
is crazy. And then Caitlin has her own side stories happening at the same time because she is best friends with Luke's younger twin brothers
Yes.
and the Chris Brown of it all. And then
And she really likes the bullet. Like, he just treats her really well.
he's stable. Like her dad
Yes.
has left. Every male figure she's had at this point has just like disappeared. So she really is attached to the bullet and wants him to marry her mom.
But Julie's
There
heart belongs to Ryan's dad
for
Frank.
some reason. So in the end, Julie does get pregnant again, but decides to not finally follow a man. She
Hmm.
is going to marry the bullet at some point. She's pregnant, and so is Kiki. So is
Yes.
Kirsten. She ends up being pregnant, we find out it's a girl, which I think works out good for the Cohens because I don't think they were prepared for both the boys to be gone.
Yeah.
We find out that Ryan does get into Berkeley, so he will be going there. So there's just like a lot of disarray in this season, but it's a lot of fun.
And coming together and
Yeah.
like I really do think they do a good job of wrapping up all of the characters where you
Yes.
don't feel like someone
Anything's
didn't,
left.
yeah, or like it was rushed or
Right.
anything. So the last episode is because of the earthquake, like essentially the Cohen's house is not salvageable. And so Sandy's like, why don't we just move back to Berkeley? Like, let's see if we can buy our old house and like raise our daughter there. The kids are out of the house. Like, let's just go back and live more simply. And so they go and essentially they make the couple that owns the house an offer they can't refuse. Um,
Well, she has a baby in their room
yeah,
and they want to have a wedding there. It's like so messy all
yeah,
around. But yeah, they eventually move back to Berkeley. We find out Ryan goes to school for, I think, architecture.
yep. Seth and Summer get married.
Seth and Summer get married. Summer goes like trying to save the environment with George, and Seth goes back to RISD,
Hmm.
and Caitlin is Caitlin. I don't know. Oh, and Julie graduates from college.
Yeah.
She turned things around. She has a son, and yeah, I think it ends well. And the reason why it doesn't feel rushed is because Fox did cancel the show, but did give them enough time to end
Yeah.
properly.
And the last scene of the show is Ryan. He's working as an architect. He has his little blueprints and everything, and then he sees a kid like on a bike that kind of looks like him when at the age where the Cohens took him in, and so he kind of calls out to the kid and asks him if he needs help, and that's kind of where the show ends.
Which I love. It's like
Yeah,
full circle, and that maybe one day they can come back and we see Ryan has now adopted a
right.
kid or something, you
Yeah,
know? So that is it. That's the OC.
that's the OC.
Yeah. Yeah. Love, 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 love the show.
Yes.
I can watch it over and over again when my anxiety isn't high.
Let's see. Other guest stars that we haven't mentioned. Lucy Hale plays one of Caitlin's friends. Max Greenfield plays a young Sandy Cohen.
Right?
Like we had mentioned, Kevin Sorbo. George Lucas makes an actual cameo appearance,
Hmm.
meeting with Seth and Zach about Atomic County, their comic book. And then Colin Hanks plays like
Oh,
the,
from the like version of their show on the
yeah,
show, like a show within the show that Summer is like obsessed with, which
yeah,
is really cute because he was in a movie called Orange County.
yeah.
And I think Paris Hilton is also on that episode. Like she's supposed to be on the show.
Mm-hmm.
So she does a cameo. And Marina Baccarin, I think is her name. I
Mm-hmm.
hope I'm saying that right. She guest stars in episodes during season 3 as Maya. She and Ben don't have a scene together, but they met on set and he blew her off, apparently. They met again on the set of Gotham, and Ben had no memory of them meeting before, and they later got married and had a child together. Fun story. My dad used to work on the set of Gotham,
Oh.
and before the show ended, I wasn't allowed to ever, like, I used to beg my dad to take pictures. He wasn't allowed to really do that. There's a lot of rules that they have,
Mm-hmm.
but he snuck a picture of Ben McKenzie for me.
Oh, nice.
And he's like, I think he left me a voice note. He's like, only for you, honey. Here you go. And he secured a Gotham hoodie for me.
Oh,
So
nice.
I was very, very happy about that. So I feel like whenever I meet Ben McKenzie, I'm going to tell him that my dad said you were very nice.
Aw.
And so thank you for that. And my dad actually on the last day, I think he was like playing cards or something. Remember the guy in the first Blade movie who got his arm cut off?
Mm-hmm.
He was on the show as well, and he was in my dad was in his trailer hanging out with
Oh,
him.
nice.
Yeah.
Well, the show was originally intended to be called Orange County, but because the movie Orange County came out, we got the OC instead.
The Cohen's pool was only 4 feet deep, so the cast had to do their pool scenes on their knees, which makes sense because if you ever see most of the scenes, they're always on those floaties.
Yeah.
So, and that whole set outside was fake. I guess the first season it wasn't, but like the first episode, the pilot episode wasn't, but yeah. What else you got?
DSC was set in Newport Beach, but most of the show was actually filmed in LA with only a few real Newport locations used for exterior shots. But that did not deter tourists who flocked to Newport Beach to get a glimpse of the OC.
Gotcha. And the pilot episode tested so well with audiences that Fox fast-tracked the show into heavy promotion before it even aired widely. The promotion was insane.
Yeah.
But the whole like aesthetics of it was really cool too, like the colors they use and all that stuff.
The
What
series
else?
frequently integrated music directly into the script. Scenes were often written with specific songs in mind, helping shape the emotional tone before the filming even began.
I think one of the things that worked so well was that um Joshua Schwartz was so young that the characters felt not like an adult writing what young kids would do at that point.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, I do like that in one scene, the characters talk about Seth vomiting like that girl from The Sixth Sense, which was a joke because Misha Barton played the vomiting girl in The Sixth Sense. So I like that they kind of threaded inside jokes, or like even just having the Valley as Summer's favorite show.
Yeah.
Which was just the OC.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about hot takes. Okay, so we have some questions here. Favorite major character?
Summer.
Same. Ryan is a close second.
Same.
But Summer's favorite. Favorite minor character?
Julie. Is she a minor character?
I would say so.
Yeah, Julie.
I think I'm going to go Taylor.
Oof. I don't even know why I didn't think of my girl. But yeah.
But like season 4 Taylor.
Yeah, not season 3.
Yeah. Character you can't stand.
It's so hard to pick. I'm gonna go Johnny.
I'm going Oliver.
Yeah. At times it was Marissa. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. A lot of the time I was like, can we kill her off earlier? Because I feel like everyone would lead much simpler lives.
I will say after rewatching it, after I got older, there were times when Seth was annoying in the sense that he was so immature. Like, especially the 4th season, I was getting annoyed. And then when I learned about like Adam Brody, not like he would only read his parts of the script. And so like there was this sense of at some point him kind of being over it, like all of them, I think in general.
Yeah.
So he just like didn't know what was happening in the plot line at all, except for his parts, which not great.
Yeah. Favorite season? You already said yours.
Yeah, I would say it's most likely season 4 or season 1. How about you?
I think I'm going season 4 as well. Yeah, and I would say 1's a close runner up.
Yeah.
Favorite episode?
That's Horde. I do love Chrismica.
I think I'm going with Chrismica as well.
But the episode, probably any episode where I do like the episode in season 4 where Caitlin has that house party and Ryan and Taylor play 7 Minutes in Heaven or whatever. And So yeah, one of those, I'm not sure. Least favorite episode. That season 3 finale, because it had me fucked up for the whole summer.
I really hate the risky business episode where they're
Which one is
having the
that?
auction and it's the crystal egg from risky business and Trey steals it and sells it. And so then Ryan and Seth have to go get it back. And Summer's auctioning off her shoe to buy time. Like it's just,
Ridiculous.
I hate it. I also hate, which surprisingly is one of the highest rated ones, but the like Bizarro episode where Taylor and Ryan are both like,
Oh, I was gonna say that it was one of my favorite episodes. The way that they teased it, it's almost like you felt like that was the episode that we thought maybe Marissa might make an appearance.
mm. I just
So,
I never liked those. Like even like Friends did them. It's
yeah,
like the what if episodes. Yeah, not
yeah.
a favorite. I do one of my favorite scenes of the whole series is when Summer does come back to Seth. I want to say it's season 2.
Hmm.
Like she breaks up with Zach at the airport and comes
Yeah.
back, and Seth is like trying to fix the satellite and he falls and he's like hanging upside down. And he
Oh,
had
the
put the
Spider-Man
Spider-Man
episode.
mask on
Yeah.
because it was raining outside. And they do
They
the whole like parody of the Spider-Man kiss. I do really like that scene.
they did have a lot of like comic book moments when she dresses up like Wonder Woman.
Yeah, that was the first Chrismica.
Favorite plot line.
Trying to think, there's so many.
For me, it's Ryan and Taylor. Just like Taylor's trying to get divorced or
Yeah,
whatever. Like, I don't know. I really enjoy the I just like Ryan in shenanigans,
yeah.
essentially. Yeah.
Trying to think. I actually do really like the Julie Bullet plot line. I don't
Yeah.
know. Like for some reason, I just love it how like he's willing to take care of her and she's like almost there, but then like her heart wins
Yeah.
out. Like I do like that.
Yeah.
And then
Same.
just like Seth and Summer throughout.
Yeah.
Like I'm just Seth and Summer stands. Like
I wasn't huge on Seth and Summer in the fourth season as much because again, Seth was just really annoying me. Okay, least favorite plot line.
you gonna say Johnny?
Oh, I don't even know what I was gonna say. I'm trying to think what gave me the most anxiety. I would have to say the Trey storyline
Yeah,
really pissed me off.
I agree. Because Trey was just like he was trying to fuck up a good thing for Ryan.
Yeah,
Like, and I
I didn't like
hated
that.
that.
Yeah.
And then without the Trey plot line, you wouldn't have gotten the Johnny plot line because Marissa
Right.
would have never been kicked out of school.
And without the Johnny plot line, we would have never got Volchuk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So really, Trey's responsible for
Hmm.
Marissa dying.
Yeah. Well, if you have any hot takes, your favorite subplots, favorite characters, hit us up at No More Late Fees on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, and Threads. And Jackie, what is, I mean, it's kind of pointless of
Yeah.
us doing this, but what is your today rating of the OC?
I'm currently rewatching it, so
Yeah.
would buy it again. I rewatch the entire series about once a year, every
Yeah.
year and a half. So love it.
This is one of the only shows I have all the seasons. I think I do. If I don't have all four, I definitely have three out of the four seasons. And that happens even with like all the shows that I like, besides maybe Veronica Mars and Roswell, I just have some of my favorite seasons. I haven't bought the whole thing on DVD. So it's definitely would buy again for me.
If you have any opinions about the OC, please call in or text in to our quick drop 909-601-6653 and you could be featured on a future episode.
And we just want to again thank everybody for
Yes.
listening and supporting the show for 6 years now. It brings so much joy to our hearts. And we just hope that you guys stick around because this season's going to be really, really fun. We have some surprises for you. Join us next week as we grab a pretzel, hit the comic book shop, and revisit Mallrats. And Jackie always
can't
loves.
wait a lot.
Yeah.
But I really can't wait for Mallrats.
I was going to say, Jackie loves a Kevin Smith moment.
I do, and we'll get into it next week, but Mallrats is... I have a theory. You have to tune in next week or listen to my Clerks episode.
I was going to say, where you both heard it.
For my theory. And as always, thank you again for hanging out with us for 6 seasons. We got many more in us. And as always, be kind and rewind. Bitch.
Jesus. Just said thank you.